I'm through my personal page. I was hoping to do this live event through the Asphalt Kingdom Pages app. We are on Jason approved. Jason, you should be on any second. All right, so just to give you an update, Facebook Pages. What's up, buddy?
Hey, Judd, there you are, buddy. How are you?
Good, good, good. So basically what was happening is Facebook Pages was crashing on us every time I went to add you. I guess it's an application bug.
Yeah, every single time the screen would freeze and it would boot me.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It was happening on my end, but nevertheless, we're 6 minutes into the, and I know people are coming on quickly here, so we'll give a couple minutes for our group to start sharing. Everybody who's on this live event, I know we're up to almost 20 here clicking in. So guys, keep sharing this. If you are looking for tips and techniques on how to hire for your business and take advantage of Mr. Awesome, Jason Scott, right there from Pavement, Sealcoating. We're here to help everybody. Awesome. So share.
It's a pleasure. I appreciate the invite, Judd. I know we talked a while ago about doing something like this, and like I said, it's definitely a pleasure. I know your videos you post in the past, people are talking about them. So when you invited me, awesome. It was definitely an honor to do the event.
Well, it's been a pleasure too. We had a great chat yesterday, leading up to this event, discussing some of the discussion points and so on. And it's really, really neat to hear your story. And I know everybody would be very excited to hear about your story, your adventure, your journey.
Absolutely.
And then to lay out some solid tips that a lot of companies can take advantage of, apply to their businesses to help them.
Absolutely.
And by no means are we hiring gurus or geniuses, but we are businessmen that are that have hired for years, and we have modern ways of doing that. So hopefully some of our learning can rub off on people.
Absolutely. And how the topic came up to even do this video was you posted, if you remember, what's your biggest struggle in business, and instantly the first thing that came to mind was employees. It's really, really cool. And, that's when we had our first chat. And you know what? We sat on the phone for over an hour, talking about everything. So,
it's great.
It's definitely nice to connect and, me share my ideas, you share yours. And, you know what? Ultimately, here we are. And I think a lot of people are going to gain from it.
Somebody needs to comment right now. Fires, red fire. That's awesome. That's hot. So let's do this. We should be ready to rock and roll here. I want to give one more minute for people to share. Can everybody start getting sharing there? We need to get my mic is messed up, I'm hearing. So let's just do this. I'm gonna take my headset on. Can you hear me okay, Jason?
You're loud and clear.
Loud and clear. Everybody else, can you just respond quickly in the comments? Do you hear me clear, or is there a breakup? Cutting out? Okay. Give me 1 second, Lee. Thanks for that answer. Hold on. Just stick my headset in. And let's rock and roll. Let's take this off like a rocket ship. Is that choppy still, everyone, or is it okay? It's choppy, huh?
The picture and audio is perfect.
Picture and audio are perfect. Everybody else is saying we're choppy. Can you guys just respond back, please? Is it only me that's cutting out, or is it Jason as well? Andre says clear. Clear as a bell. So is it me? Is it Judd Burdon that's breaking up, or is it Jason Scott that's breaking up? Jason, go ahead and talk for a second.
Sure, absolutely. Again, I appreciate the invite. It's definitely an honor. Anybody in the asphalt industry absolutely knows who you are, knows who your company is. And when you invited me to do a video, like I said, I didn't have to think twice because I've heard your thoughts. We've had long, lengthy conversations. I like the ideas you have, and I tell you, once your new ideas come out, I think it's really going to people are some of the programs and stuff that you have coming up.
Okay. Yeah, I appreciate all the words, and I got to tell you, I've been following you as well. We're dealing with a bit of an issue right now, which is that people are complaining about choppiness.
If you can wait 1 second, let me check my Wi-Fi connection.
That would be great.
Just 1 second.
So everybody, while Jason's checking on his Wi-Fi connection there, I just want to kind of, elaborate on the things that we were speaking about. One of the reasons why why we're both on camera right now and how this came about is essentially, the whole topic of unity and collaboration, like really coming together as a team. I mean, everybody, every individual, every person that exists in this world has a different set of tools that they carry in their life toolbox, and being able to have the experience, the knowledge from really starting as a beginner and then moving into an expert is something that's a process, and along the way it's important to meet with people. We're having a really bad audio problem, everybody, on this live event right now. I'm so sorry about this. I
checked the Wi-Fi and reset it. Is that a little bit better?
You seem clear, but I can hear like distortion coming when I speak. Okay. And I'm not sure what that is.
I'm hearing you clear, so I'm not sure what's going on.
So you don't hear any distortion?
Not at all. No, you're clear.
Okay. Can everybody tell me, am I clear? And before we get started, and we're going to have to roll this. So am I clear? Yes. Judd, Burdon, am I clear? Please comment on that. And we'll need to get a comment on that. Yeah, it's in and out for me as well. I'd hate to cancel this live event right at this moment and restart it because we have 25 feed, but people. So the right thing to do is to start it over, and we're going to have to share it all again. It's the right thing to do. There's an audio issue. So, and what I'll do is I'm going to restart shortly. Do you have your hand on your microphone by any chance, Jason?
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. Well, listen, we're trying our best, everybody, but the audio issue. We need this to be a clear recording, Jason, because there's going to be literally thousands of people that will watch this. So I want to make sure that we're starting over. Sorry, we're 13 minutes in. We're going to restart this Facebook Live. Go to Judd Burdon's page or on Facebook, or go to Asphalt Kingdom. It's going to be restarted here shortly. Unless somebody tells me right now that we are good, because I'm not hearing the echo anymore, Jason.
I'm hearing you loud and clear. Yeah, you're coming in perfect, and the video's perfect. So I'm not sure what others are seeing.
All right, everybody's saying it's good now, so let's kick this off while it's good, and let's rock. Thank you, everybody, for attending this Facebook Live event. Judd Burdon here from Asphalt Kingdom, and we've got Mr. Jason Scott, awesome full-service asphalt maintenance and paving company, and you're out of New Jersey, right?
Yes, sir, Northern New Jersey.
Right on, man. Well, listen, thank you, everybody, for joining. I know we're clicking up here on 25 visitors. Keep sharing this, please. This is a really good event to be a part of and learn from, whether or not you're in the asphalt maintenance industry. Take advantage of our experience and our knowledge and apply it to your life toolbox and to your business. So 2018 tips for hiring staff and having them stick. Let's kick this off, Mr. Scott. So kicking this off, first I'd like to introduce myself, and then I'd like you to introduce yourself, if possible. So basically, I started Asphalt Kingdom after many, many years of experience in the asphalt maintenance industry. Owned a large company in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Grew it, full service company, surface prep, crack sealing, seal coating, patching, striping. We had the full service rig on multiple rigs. Grew the company, sold the company, ended up getting involved with the online world, built out Asphalt Kingdom. The site was primarily focused at selling equipment and supplies in its early days. And recently I've had a firework breakthrough mentally, personally, in that nothing matters unless it's collaboration and unity, people working together, teams and everything else. it's not about the money. It's about team effort and really building this industry the right way. And by doing these kind of things that we've been doing, I've seen a lot of response to this, positivity, and we're going to keep doing it. Nothing's going to stop this from continuing. This is dominoes, and we are going all the way through. We're letting all these dominoes go. And I'm so excited to be here with you, Mr. Scott. And if you could share a little bit about your journey and, you know, where you come, where you are, man, please go ahead. Let us know.
Absolutely. I tell you what, again, I appreciate you having me. Our journey is an absolute roller coaster. We started out as a family business. Our father had started, we're second generation. Our father had started in the 70s. Unfortunately, he had a huge business, and he got sick and he passed away. So the business kind of withered away to nothing. You know, myself, my brothers were, you know, not in a predicament to really keep it going and bring it to the next level. So at that point, we kind of just let it go. I went off and actually I joined the Marines. So I went off and, you know, I was all over the world. So I stepped away and
thank you.
You know, I appreciate that. So I traveled the world. I did, you know, 2 combat deployments, faced a lot of challenges, you know, and I tell you what, where I'm at now, you know, military wise, absolutely helps us out. You know, in business, you know, I have a lot to thank for my military experience. So while I was in the military, we're a family business. My 2 brothers they worked for another company. Kept it, you know, what they know and what they love, they kept it going. That went on for approximately 10 years. I came back home, you know, worked in the industry, and you know, it so happened that at that time frame, I couldn't find steady work. You know, the job that my brothers were working at was starting to go south. We put our heads together. We said, let's do this. Let's start it back up. So we started absolutely from the bottom, and you know, here we are now. So again, it's a hell of a journey, and we've came a long way.
Yeah, well, you know, that journey, man, I can only say that, you know, the journey, the experience is truly what makes you who you are today. I mean, there's just no doubt about it. And, you know, a lot of people end up blaming the past, you know, blaming things, bad things and everything else, when truly it's lessons and experience that allow us to grow. And
you're right.
You know, I speak to a lot of people every day that are at points where they're looking at, you know, I spoke about this a couple Facebook Lives ago, but a lot of people are confronted with a hurdle, with a challenge. Absolutely. And they don't know how to overcome it. And it's daunting.
You're absolutely right. And there's a lot of negative people. Anybody watching that is either just starting in business or thinking about, you know what, maybe I really want to try this on my own. At that point, a lot of people bring them down. A lot of people are going to say, you can't do it. It's just too hard. You can't afford it. You know, we were there. We had guys tell us, you are never going to go anywhere, and, you know, don't even try it. So, you know what, in the end, those were the people I thank, because those are the people that honestly, they put a fire under us, and there was no way that we weren't going to climb the mountain. So,
and props to you, man.
I appreciate
that's huge. You know, that's huge.
So
one thing I do want to, sorry.
Sure. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I said, don't get me wrong.
Your video's a little slow. There's a little bit of a lag, slight lag, but that's all right. It's still good. We can hear you and see you, and everything's fine. So I give you props to that. And I'll tell you, you know, speaking about the hurdle, when somebody's in front of that, and especially in the military, man, I mean, you're presented with your life challenges, that
absolutely
life-threatening challenges, and you know, you're really there protecting your life. And And I know everybody appreciates that. So thank you again for that service, man.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. In addition to that, you know, for all the audience that's watching right now and anybody who watches the recording after this, I think that Jason and I would both say the same thing here. If you're confronted with a hurdle, know that you're not alone. Know that you're part of, you know, if you are wanting and willing to engage and interact with our community for support and work together as unity, you're a part of our troop, man. That's, we cannot face hurdles alone in our lifetime and just sit there and not ask for help, or, you know, have somebody else grab you by the arm and, you know, carry you over that hurdle. Sometimes you need to do this as a team, and you need to work together to accomplish that. Whether it's, you know, whether it's the asphalt business or in the military, the same rules apply, right?
You know what, as far as it comes, there's hurdles. You know, you bring up hurdles. That's the biggest thing. And unfortunately, when it comes to business and anything, the military, there's people that can't overcome those hurdles. You know, and that's the problem. If you tell yourself I can't get over it, you're not going to get over it. If you tell yourself from the beginning, I don't care how big it is, I'm going to jump it. There's, like you said, being a part of something where there's support around you is absolutely huge, and that definitely helps to have somebody, you know, push along with you.
Yeah, well, I look forward to pushing along with you, man, and I'm really excited for what the future has in wherever it goes. So I really appreciate you taking the time to talk about that. Well, it's not always,
I tell you,
easy to talk.
Our conversation we had the other night, I'm excited about. You know, I'll let you tell everybody some of the you have when the time comes, but I was actually kind of blown away because some of the things you were saying, I thought to myself, that just makes so much sense. As far as, you know, a network and whatnot, and guys working together.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate that. And what Jason's speaking about here is the Get Connected program that's coming soon. I can't spill all the beans. If somebody wants some details on the Get Connected program that we're going to be launching with Asphalt Kingdom down the road, you can PM us through the Asphalt Kingdom page, message us, and we can spill a little bit of the beans. But it's going to be, thank you, Ernest. I appreciate that, man. You know, this is going to be good for everybody, and that's what we want.
I think it's.
I was told by a guy, a mentor of mine, Ian. He, great guy. You know, built a beautiful company, smart, really intelligent guy, and a good friend. He told me too good of a deal at a table is never too good of a deal for one party at a table is never a good deal. It has to be a good deal for everybody at the table.
Exactly. So
we're excited to be announcing that coming up. It's not that far away. We've spent a lot of time and energy, and we'll continue to ramp that up. With that all being said, with hurdles, we have the hurdle of hiring, and I want to go through some of the pieces here to help the people who are watching who may be needing some assistance with hiring strategies and new ways to do it, because let's face it, hiring today is very different than what it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, or even just 1 year ago. So, you know,
it's a whole different world. Back in the day, it was, you know, a newspaper classified ad. That doesn't cut it now. That's way, you know, we're way past that. And that's some people don't realize that. And you know what? As far as employees, it's difficult. What works? You know, do you go on a certain website, or do you join a certain group? You know, how do you scan your audience? You know, if I have 50 people that reach out to me, you know, how do you know who's who in the 50? And that's the battle.
I actually took some good notes. I took some great notes from our conversation the other night that that we've laid out. Actually, Ryan was on that call. Ryan, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I know Ryan will also be, Ryan will be sharing some information in the comments. So please do keep up with Ryan's comments that are in there, and Andre's as well. There are comments that will be listed pertaining to the notes and so on. And you can always reach out to us on Asphalt Kingdom for the note summary afterwards, no problem. But I'll tell you that from our conversation, it was immediately apparent that we were on the same page with the whole digital world, and taking advantage of the digital world to really filter out who we were spending time with to hire. So an example of that would be regarding the notes. So the modern digital strategies are obviously key. And what are those strategies? You know, what kind of sites do we use? So as an example, I think that two of the key digital pieces of real estate, online real estate, that we use to fish for employees that could help our business is through Craigslist. Craigslist was a discussion point.
We've tried it.
Yeah. Tell me about Craigslist. What's your experience?
Craigslist, I tell you, we posted a while ago, posted a Craigslist ad, and first thing, you can't feel somebody out. So I don't know if you're replying to me as Judd, the 18-year-old kid that, you know, has no motivation, absolutely no desire to work in, 100-degree outside, and, you know, working with tar that's 400 degrees, or working with asphalt that's 400 degrees. Or if you're Judd, the athletic guy that, is outdoorsy and is into this kind of work. So we did get rapid replies, but in just talking to people, I could say, all right, you're not the guy we want. And it was so difficult to, do I waste my time meeting with dozens of people when out of the dozens, not a single one of them is going to be a match? That it's definitely difficult, because in our industry, it is difficult to find a match. And, and I think a lot of that is people don't know what they're involved with.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
The Craigslist, I would recommend that to anybody.
You would recommend it?
Craigslist, I wouldn't. And that's where
you would not recommend.
No, I feel there's definitely much more effective routes. You know what? In business, the old saying is definitely true, and that's with anything: is time is money. So if I spend time, sifting through 50 people, and then I might pick somebody who I think is decent, and they show up for a day, which we've had. They show up for a day, and halfway through the day, they said, we're done. And well, guess what? I just wasted my time talking to them, trying to teach them, and now I wasted my time on the job. So it's just, it makes no sense, and you're not going to make money that way.
Yeah, I understand totally. And I'll tell you this, that Craigslist, I would agree with you if we used Craigslist the way that it has been used, that everybody in the general public uses Craigslist. But what if you didn't have to spend any time on Craigslist actually even communicating with the people from Craigslist? What if there was some kind of a filtering agent or automatic, like a virtual online messenger bot that was able to communicate with those people from a link that you posted in your Craigslist listing that landed them at a landing page that walked them through the bot messenger to really determine whether or not that was a candidate that was worth you speaking with? Because I know I have spent time on Craigslist. I know I have.
Sure.
I'll be honest. And other people that I know who are very, good people, they're not tire kickers. They're good people. It's just that I think there's more so people who maybe, I don't want to say this in a bad way, but tire kickers in Craigslist that are looking for the deal and the quick thing.
Sure.
But what if there was a way to automate that and allow us to truly automate it, so to speak, so that you would get hand delivered an email or notification that said they've gone through the necessary filters to get out to the point where this candidate is ranked out of 10 at this level. Would that be something that you think would be worthwhile calling that candidate back if the profiling questions were set up by a hiring firm, a specialist who actually is with a firm that has tremendous experience in hiring? If they set up that bot messenger and those profiling questions, would that be worth posting and adding Craigslist if you had that automated solution?
If that was, I just think there's more effective routes. But if there was, if you were to ask me, do you think that would improve? Absolutely. Because the way it is now, you're posting your ad. There's no filtering, people out that don't fit the job. And I think that, like I said, that's a lot of the problem with, say, Craigslist. If there was different, like you said, are we a match? Things that people could go through and say, okay, this is what the job consists of. I meet that, I meet that, I meet that, I don't meet that. Hey, we might have a match,
Right.
Actually, the other night on the phone we talked, and it's a silly comparison. Would almost be like a dating site, this is who I am, and this is what I like, and this is what I don't like, and so on and so forth. Kind of the same thing. If there was something like that I could really get to know who you are, then that would definitely be much more effective.
Right, that makes sense. So what you're saying is basically Craigslist would be kind of a write-off, or not a write-off, but it might be a secondary option if you weren't getting the necessary the leads for employment through a different channel. So if you were going to advise, like, would you use Facebook groups? What would you do?
I would say our most effective way of finding good guys that fit what we need is the Facebook route. There's a few different reasons I say that. As far as Facebook, plain and simple, 5 minutes, you can click on my profile. You have a pretty good idea who I am. The guy is, he keeps himself pretty decent. He doesn't look like a, you know what I mean? His face and neck isn't covered in tattoos. This is what he likes to do, looking at picture, I can click on pictures and say, oh, wow, he's got hobbies. He plays sports, this, that, the other thing. I can see who you're friends with. So if you're local, I can click and say, well, this is one of his best friends. I read about the guy in the paper all the time. That might be a bad thing. So as far as filtering people out, Facebook is very effective.
Yeah. I see DC. You just wrote, what's wrong with tattoos? Nothing's wrong.
I'm not talking tattoos, but I'm talking teardrops. I'm talking that kind of stuff.
No, I know.
Whole different.
Little humor from DC. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that was going to come up from somebody. I knew it was going to come up, but that's not what I meant. Trust me, I have nothing with tattoos at all.
No, I totally get it. Yeah, no, I totally understand. Like, I mean, if you're carrying, gang tattoos and all the different things, you don't want, at the end of the day, this is your business, right?
Exactly.
So you get to choose if you want to be involved with your company or not. So when you're hiring, you're basically going through that profiling tactic to determine whether or not they're a match. And so I guess one of the things that I guess I'd ask is, does anybody on here, and feel free to comment, does anybody on here have an actual profiling questionnaire that they have in Google Drive or somewhere? And maybe you do, Jason, I don't know. I certainly don't, but I think it's something that would be advantageous to the industry, is to have a profiling questionnaire that walks through the different pieces as a standard one. Now, I know every business is different in the way that it operates because owners are different. We've got our own personalities, our own decisions. But the backbone is pretty much the same from a backbone perspective. So if we had a profiling questionnaire, that would be probably something that would be, I'm sure, feel free to comment, everybody. But that would be great, right?
Yeah, we don't use anything like that. But yeah, I know you mentioned it the other night when we were on the phone. That definitely would be helpful, Yeah. And again, you're getting a good feel of who the guy is that you know, potentially is going to be your, you know, your worker.
So, you know, what's really cool is that my wife is sitting right in front of me right now, like she's in the living room, and she just posted something. What about doing intern programs with schools and kids about to graduate? They even work for free until fully trained. They only allow kids that have and want and GPA to apply. So the question is, I don't know what the legalities are around that, but I would assume if it was an internship, maybe not to hire full time, but to help some youngsters get out into the world and also provide you with a helping hand that may transform into a really good moldable employee. So with that being said, I guess my question is, when you're hiring, Jason, do you primarily look to hire somebody who's set in their own ways and has tremendous experience in the industry? Or are you more interested in hiring somebody who is maybe younger and more moldable, or somebody that, I shouldn't say younger or new to the industry?
Exactly.
And
it depends what you're looking for. Here's the difference. If I find a guy and you say, sure, I've seal coated. I've seal coated in the past. I've got 4 or 5 years experience, whatever it is. That's great. But I bring you in as far as our procedure. You know, we pretty much get to a job. We have a certain way we do it. And that's every single time. Now, if I bring you in and you have bad habits,
right.
And you know what? Muscle memory is a crazy thing. So if you're used to doing something for 5 years a certain way, and I say, no, that's not how we do it here, that can get kind of difficult. Whereas if I get a young guy in, you know, a 20-year-old guy who's never ever heard of even seal coating, and I get him, I bring him in. First, I tell him, hey, just, you know, hold the hose, push the blower, something like that. And he can watch us. Now we can mold him. And we've had a couple of guys that, you know what, they were the best, hardest workers. You know, we molded them, and you know what, they did exactly what we wanted and what we expected of them. And for us, that was fantastic. So
that's good feedback.
There's pros and cons of both.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, it's an interesting thing what Ryan just commented to on, you know, regarding the promotional aspect. So good promotion for the company too. So just touching back on the internship, maybe you don't do it with everybody, but to maybe speak to a school or communicate with a school where there might be somebody interested in that program. Would that be a good promotional aspect for you, that you hired from a school? You know, you
Sure.
Brought the person in, the student, to help teach them the trade. And would that be good promotion and coverage if you use the digital world to truly spread that message about what you did? So not only are you potentially, you know, helping somebody and training them about a trade, but also you're now potentially being able to employ somebody that's shaping into a good, you know, well-lit employee, and at the same time getting promotion, right?
Sure. That's definitely not a bad idea, to do something like that. And ultimately, it all goes back to what we were talking about. You know, you take that young man or young woman, they're young, they're hungry, and you know what? They start from the bottom, and there's only one way on the ladder they're going to go, and that's up. And that's the most important thing.
That's really great feedback. And I want everybody to know we really appreciate you commenting and giving advice. I know that people are reading this, and that's really, really important. Keep sharing this live feed, everybody, please, because there's some incredible information coming out here. A couple things that I wanted to touch on is that the newspaper's a write-off. Nobody's posting ads in a paper anymore, right? It's
I think
for your.
I still read the paper. You know, if I'm in an office, a doctor's office, something like that, or a diner grabbing lunch, and there's a paper, I love to flip through and read the paper. But I just happen to notice the classified section is just basically non-existent anymore. It's just something a tool that people do not use.
Yeah. That's definitely the case. Now, it's a delicate topic that Randall just posted, and certainly I think this is open discussion. So there's no reason why we can't share our opinion. We're allowed to do that. So let's do this. He writes, what about work release program with local prisons to help rehabilitate them? What are your thoughts on that? And I'll share my thoughts.
As far as that, again, I think it depends what it is.
Right.
And obviously you have to thoroughly know exactly who you're dealing with. But I will say, going back to before when I mentioned tattoos, somebody said, don't judge a book by its cover. I can tell you people that I know personally who were in prison. They went down a bad road, got into something bad, and you know what? They spent some hard time. And they got out, and you know what? It turned them around, and they are the most successful, hardworking people you ever meet in your life. I know them personally, and you know what? That just because somebody was in that predicament doesn't necessarily mean, hey, get him away. But again, I think you really have to vet, who you're talking to.
100%. Yeah. Understanding the prospect. Yeah. The potential employee. Exactly.
But no, it's definitely, you know what? Giving somebody the second chance is definitely the right thing to do. Given that they're not, a hardened life criminal. If it's somebody who has repeat offense after repeat offense, then that might be something different.
So from a hiring perspective, so far I think we're on track for basically knowing that Facebook is the primary spot that you'd go to hire. Facebook groups related to the industry. That is great stuff. In regards to that piece, it still requires a lot of individual interaction. So the business, say you, and the actual person applying for the job, you would have to have a lot of personal interaction one-on-one, right?
Absolutely.
In order to determine if they're a fit. What I'm trying to think of related to the digital world, and then we can talk about having your employees stick afterwards, because I think that's a really important topic. So everybody get ready for it. But as for the front end, going back to the bot messenger topic, or a get connected portion of what we're doing as its own. So get connected would be the nucleus, but there's different branches of that to help our industry. And if one of those branches was something that allowed you as a business owner to link them to go through the profiling questionnaires and then deliver you the candidate for the position, do you see that as something that would make sense, whether you're using Facebook, you're using Craigslist, you're putting out a press release to prisons, would you see a support solution like that as being beneficial, or would you say that wouldn't? Because I'm interested in knowing that, because if it is really beneficial to the industry and people comment that that's something we need, I'm going to do it. We need to do this, right?
And I think ultimately, I definitely do. That's something we had talked about the other night. I definitely agree that as a professional in the industry, it's definitely something that would help out and make things a lot easier.
Right.
And I think at the end of the day, it's not only going to make things easier for me, it's going to make things easier for you, the potential employer.
Exactly. So the employee also has, it's what they're basically doing is they're going through a step-by-step simple entry that's almost delivering their resume, but in a personable way. Let me ask, does everybody love writing a resume, or in Canada they call it a CV, a curriculum vitae, or is it a CV in the States too? CV? Resume. So I know in Canada it's CV, and then it's resume generally in the States. But when you take that, I know it's a pain in the ass for everybody to write one of those. And a lot of the time, people are totally phony on it. They write a bunch of BS. And so at the end of the day, if there was a profiling solution that actually was simple for the person the candidate, the person applying, and also for the employer to receive qualified people that were literally ranked, I think that that would be a really cool thing. So I'd really enjoy hearing from DC. You hate it? Oh, maybe something else. I was like, uh-oh. Well, no, but honestly, like there's no harm in if somebody thinks that that's not good, please comment, because we really, I and the team at Asphalt Kingdom, what we're looking to do is provide solutions, and some are going to be paid solutions, some are going to be free solutions, but it's going to be fair so that everybody at the table has a good deal. But those are really, really important pieces, and without the feedback of the industry, I don't want to just do something that's not going to work for the industry. We have to work towards helping each other to grow this, right, and to really build the industry up. So that feedback's appreciated. As for the stick side, so let's say that now we've gone through the profiling aspects. We've now said yes, we're hiring you. What would you say the number one thing is? And this is going to be an interesting one because I know a lot of people have different opinions on this. What is the number one sticking? If there's a chunk of glue that you were going to stick on that employee, what would the title of that glue be?
You mean as what is my method of making you stick?
Would it be money? Would it be incentives?
No. And I'll
bonuses?
tell you what, it's neither of them. A little bit of respect and how you treat somebody is the main key. The main thing is, if you're my employee and I treat you like a complete piece of shit, but I'm paying you good, guess what? It's still not going to keep you. So I can give you incentives, I can give you money, all I want. But at the end of the day, if I treat you no different than I would want to be treated, in how I talk to you and how all around how I treat you, that to me is the most important stick. It's one thing I learned in the service. We did leadership classes and whatnot, and it's one thing I really learned, and it stuck with me is how to treat somebody below you. I'll give you an example. If you're my employee, and you can ask the guys that work with us, and they'll absolutely agree 100%. And I've heard it from them. If you're my employee and I need you to go and clean something, or I need you to go dig something, do anything. It's very simple. Rather than me say, hey, Judd, get your ass over there and go do that.
Yeah.
Hey, Judd, do me a favor. What's that? Could you go over and do that? Sure, no problem. Hey, I appreciate it. Thanks, Judd. And that right there, just how I interacted and how I treated you, ultimately, in this, don't get me wrong, if we're on a big job and we're, in a hurry and stuff, I'm not saying it's always going to be that way. But for the most part, if I treat you like a human with the utmost respect, you know what? That person is going to want to stick around you because, hey, Judd's a pretty good guy. And again, it's not about the money. It's not about the incentives. They help, but a little bit of respect goes a long ways. And you know what? I've had employers that were awful. They treated me like complete dirt. And you know what? They could have offered me $100 an hour. I could have been, as rich as you want to be.
Wasn't worth it.
I didn't want to work for them because it wasn't about the money. It's about how you treat me.
Yeah, I understand.
And that's go ahead.
And I think that there's that thing too, is respect is a 7-letter word that's ideal, right?
Absolutely.
So if an employee is taking advantage of an employer where they're not showing up on time or they're not doing work that they've been requested to do, then there's certain things that you can do to give them opportunities to improve, but you also need to set your boundaries. So boundary setting is really important, I think, for both the employee and the employer. The boundaries need to be set. And what those boundaries look like depend on, of course, you as the employer, or your personality, your experience, your company, the way that you have molded, and the same thing with the employee. Things either work or they don't. And at the end of the day, if you have respect on both sides that fit to say, I accept you for who you are, and you're respecting me, vice versa, you're good to go. So I think that, another thing that's really underused, and I am guilty of it, I think, we aren't perfect. There's stuff that we do as employers that, DC just wrote, he treats his guys the way that he wants to be treated. And
that's the most important.
Couldn't agree more. Now, not to say that DC, as an example, or myself or Jason, we wake up one morning and something happened where we were grumpy as shit in the morning and we said something to somebody and did something we shouldn't have done. We're not angels, we're not perfect, but at the end of the day, you're accountable for your shit and you're able to apologize for your shit and make an amends, then you can move on strong and the relationship gets even stronger.
And you know what? And again, everyone's human. It works both ways. As far as me, I got a million thoughts in my head. I have a little bit of a temper. So when things get crazy, I have no problem letting a little steam out. You know what? 5 minutes later, it passes, and that's that. But the same thing goes with the employee. We're in the middle of something. He's working his ass off. He gets huffy. I'm not going to hold it against him. I'm going to walk the other way and let him do his thing and cool off. And again, 5 minutes later, it's fine. You know what I mean? Once you work together, people know how that is. But
yeah, that's awesome.
He definitely can't hold it against somebody.
For sure. So recognize when the employees are making progress. So as your guys are improving, let's say they're getting into striping and they haven't striped before, you end up training them on how to stripe, and they may screw up, right? They may screw up, but you teach them how to improve. And so the question is, as they are improving, do you feel that it empowers employees and makes them feel better about being a part of the team when they are indeed recognized and improving?
Absolutely. And that's another big thing as an employer. If you're a young guy, you're working with us, I'm trying to mold you, or we're trying to mold you, teach you how to do a specific thing. I'll tell our guys all the time, like, hey, good job. You kicked ass. That looks awesome. That's exactly what I wanted, that goes a long ways. Shit, I couldn't have made that look as good myself. You did great. When a young guy hears that goes a long way.
Yeah, that's awesome. Randall's been chiming in here. He's a business owner, and he said right here, as the owner of a company, I never ask my employees to do anything that I would not be willing to do myself. Once the employee realizes you're willing to do the grunt work with them in the trenches, it seems to go a long way in my experience. And that I'm sitting here right now on this Facebook Live event right now, and I've got our staff, our team, that is on Facebook Live right now. It's 7:54 p.m. They don't need to be on here. They're on here because they love the team and they're here, and I didn't ask any of them to be there, but they feel like they're part of the team. And I want you guys, feel free to try. So Ricky, I can attest how well Judd treats his man. I appreciate that. That's huge, like that. And there's no better feeling as the owner of a company who is leading the team, which are as important assets as I am to the company. There's no better feeling than hearing that. I have goosebumps, and thank you for saying that. But that's a really important thing that was just stated there, Randall. I appreciate your input there. One of the things that also I noted was take interested in ideas from your employees, whether they're good or bad.
Sure.
So if somebody has an idea that's creative on how to do something better and provides constructive criticism, take that.
Sure.
And don't push don't fight it, but say, thank you for taking the time out of your life your life's short, man. You took the time out of your life. That's good stuff.
Absolutely. And you know what? Nobody is perfect. Nobody. So you know what? At the end of the day, we're always learning. So at the end of the day, sure, we have things down pretty solid. We're pretty consistent and, like a well-oiled machine. But guess what? We do what we're used to. You might come in and say, hey, have you thought of maybe doing this way? That might save some time. Or, hey, this works a little bit better. You know what? Hey, that's a pretty damn good idea. Let's give it a shot. And that's important. You have to communicate. You have to listen to your employees. Because again, I've worked for companies with bosses that you were wrong. We're going to do it this way. And if you gave them another idea, shut up, get the hell over there. I've been doing this 30 years. Okay. And now you feel like a piece of shit because you know what? This guy won't even listen to me. So,
yeah.
There's never a time where somebody has an idea and we're not, taking them up on it.
That's awesome, man. Who's Brienne?
Oh, he works with us.
Got it. He loves you.
Yeah.
He loves you. So, Ernest, also, I'm glad you clean your own filter, man. My wife says it's way too much information. We got a good laugh out of that one too. Yeah, I'm glad you clean your filter. But, just to wrap things up here, we're getting around the 1 hour mark and we're going to close things down. But I really hope that, there was some takeaways from this. I know that I've taken away from this and I feel really, really good about what we've done tonight. And I want to thank you, Jake. I'd like to just go over as we were on here, one of the things, always growing, always looking to improve, always learning, when we're born, we have the opportunity to learn till the time that we die. When you die, that's when you stop learning, right?
And that's huge. Learning, as far as me personally, I've said this before. I do what we love and we love what we do. And that's the truth. I'm always looking for ideas. I'm always looking to network. I'm always, I want to hear what you have to say. And you know what? When somebody like you reaches out and says, hey, could we have a chat on the phone? To me, that means a lot because you know what? Hey, and then when you say, boy, that's a great idea, that ultimately to me, it's all what I love about the industry. And again, learning is huge.
Brian's giving me shit in the comments. He's laughing at my Brienne. I didn't realize it was Brian.
It's Brian.
Brian. So there's a space, right?
That's right. He's a little feminine, so
it says BRI space and. Sorry about that. Yeah, Brian, you can PM me an emoji or something. No problem. But so as we were on, as I said, I'm always looking to learn. So one of the things I did while we were on here, Jason, was 7 secrets to keeping your employees happy and keeping them, making them stick. And sure. I think that, I'll just go over these key points and then we'll wrap up. But these are really important. So feel free, everybody, to take some notes on this. This is a really good document here. Happy employees are more productive. Happy employees are better leaders. Happy employees are more creative. Happy employees are better team players. And then the seven secrets are this. 1, recognize when employees are making progress. 2, make employees feel like they belong. 3, take an interest in who employees actually are as a person and how they impact your business. 4, make it fun for them. Make it fun. Take them to lunch.
That's huge. That is huge. I have people
take them one-on-one for a burger.
I have guys that work with us and they say, I never thought something like this could be so. We have a blast. We sing, we horse around while getting stuff done. But you know what? We might be doing a job. We got the radio rock and roll going in the truck, and have a good time. It's like you know what? You have to. You live one time in life.
Man, and I can tell you that truck at the end of the day inside that cab does not smell very good. I've been there before. But anyway, that's the sealer I'm talking about, everybody. It's the sealer. Anyway, that was a little laugh out loud. Number five, let your employees disengage sometimes. You know, let them check out for a little vacation if they need a little vacation. If they've earned that vacation, don't be afraid to give them that. Now, I know in the wintertime there's good vacation time, but if you see somebody who's really starting to burn out on you, give them a little bit of time and give them a little bonus, an incentive. Go get a massage, you know?
Sure.
Or whatever. Number six, encourage exercise and sleep. So sleep is key. I know in the asphalt maintenance world, a lot of the time we go out, we bust our chops all day long. We go for dinner, have a couple of beers, and next thing you know, it's 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and we got to be up at 5 o'clock in the morning the next morning. That's not good rest. You got to rest yourself. So make sure that we're encouraging that, right? And the other thing is, number seven, stop calculating everything. If you're going to write a paycheck and it's $3 away from an even Steven number, don't nitpick over a few bucks, you know?
Sure.
And that's the thing, is that everybody, you know, if you want to hire somebody, make sure that you're going through the profiling stages of making sure you're hiring somebody the right way. Discussed that earlier in the video. If you're only chiming in now, feel free to watch the recording. And the second thing is making them stick. Ultimately, make sure that your employees are smiling. Make sure that when they come to work, they're wearing your team shirt. You know, I want my staff. I want my staff to come, and I want them wearing a
that's
shirt.
it.
Right? I want them. Yeah.
They got that pride. You know, if once they're there, like you said, they're part of the team. You know, it's never I or mine. That's not my job. It's our job. You know, we just completed that job. You know, we kicked ass. I didn't kick ass. We're a team. So, and that's huge. But
yeah,
when you have that employee that shows that pride, you know, that we get done and they're pulling their phone out, they're taking a picture, you know, and they're talking about it to their friends, and I hear about it. It's like, to me, that's huge. You know, that's the guy you want.
Yeah, man, totally. And you know, we all have the ability, once we've hired somebody, to be able to give them the best opportunity to succeed. As an employer, we have to give them the opportunity to succeed. And
that's it.
Really it. Now, if you truly wanted to get rid of somebody or have them quit, all you have to do at the end of the season is ask them to clean the seal coat tank, and then it's over.
That's it.
Charles Baker. Well put. That was a quote from Charles Baker right there, everybody.
Our next interview host, Charles Baker.
Yeah, actually, we were just chatting on instant message before this event, and we're going to plan something with Charles on line striping, I think. So we're really excited about that.
I don't know if you follow his Instagram. The guy is an absolute genius. The guy is good.
Beast. Yeah. Charles, we're looking forward to that. But in the meantime, I want to close this up, wrap this up. Facebook Live event. Everybody push that thumb up, the like button across the screen. I want it to light up across the bottom right now. I really want to know if this has been a good, fun Facebook Live. Push the heart, push the like button, and feel free to share the video. Here come the likes. Boom, boom, boom. Come on, fireworks, everybody. Do it.
They're firing away.
Cool.
Cool.
Thanks a lot, everybody. Thanks for joining me.
Judd, I appreciate the invite. It was a lot of fun. We had a little bit of technical difficulty at the beginning, but everything worked out good. I hope.
Jason,
I hope.
Yeah, we're losing you right now, Jason. Right at the end of the event, so you're frozen. But I think we're back. Okay, it was a little choppy there for a second, everybody, but I think we lost Jason. Thank you, everybody, for this wonderful time. Appreciate everything. And Jason, Scott, you're awesome. Thank you for the time out of your life to help others. And looking forward to seeing everybody on our next Facebook Live event. He's asking to be on. Here we go. We're going to add him back on just to say goodbye quickly. But I hope everybody enjoyed this event, and cannot wait for the next one. It'll be very, very exciting. So Mr. Scott is unfortunately unable to connect. I'm closing out. 10-4. Everything's good. Over and out. Have a good night, everybody. Peace.